UFC Vegas 107 was supposed to be headlined by Erin Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber at flyweight, 125 pounds in the UFC. This was supposed to be a fight between the number 4 and the number 5 in the division. Erin Blanchfield being the number 4, Maycee Barber being the number 5. Now, a couple things should be noted before we even talk about this fight. First is that Maycee Barber was coming off of a 14-month layoff. That's right. Maycee Barber's last fight was not recently. Maycee Barber's last fight, if we're getting really into the weeds, if we're really trying to figure out exactly what happened, where the roads could have led to, if we're trying to get into that, Maycee Barber's last fight was March 9th of 2024 against Caitlin Sermonara, also known as Caitlin Chukagian, another Long Island native. Shout out to her from Amityville. But that was Maycee Barber's last fight. Now, for most people, UFC fighters 30 and above, you'd be like, oh, that's okay. A year layoff. Maybe you had some injuries to deal with. But Maycee Barber's 27. I remember being 27. I'm sure most of you remember being 27. And I could run through a brick wall at 27, wake up the next morning, go drinking with my buddies at 11 a.m. Okay. So 27, you feel pretty good at 27. Not going to lie. You feel pretty goddamn good at 27. 25 even better, but 27, still freaking solid. Okay? So Maycee Barber's only 27. She hasn't fought in over a year. Comes into this weekend saying all the right things, but then ends up missing weight by a half pound. She was supposed to make the 126-pound limit. She only makes 126 and a half, calls it quits with 126 and a half. Another little red flag there. Because usually when a fighter misses by a small amount, that means they had a really tough time making that weight. Really tough time. Okay? 0.25, half pound, they had a tough time. They're like, I'm not even going to bother making that cut. Take my money. That says a lot already. And you also have to factor in that 126 pounds is not a lot of weight. It's not a lot of weight in relation to the rest of your body. So cutting weight's a little harder for those 125ers, 115ers, 135ers, 145ers, no matter what weight class. It's easier to take 20 pounds off a 220-pound person than to take 20 pounds off a 150-pound person to get them down to 135. Okay? So let's keep that as a factor. Now, before I get into the other things that I want to talk about, let's talk about what ensued on Saturday night. Now, Maycee Barber is the B side, Erin Blanchfield is the A side, which means in the sequence of walkouts, Maycee Barber would go first. Maycee Barber walks out first, B side walks out. They play the promo, B side walks out. They maybe play another promo, short package, A side walks out, tail of the tape. Referee does the talking, blah, blah, blah. That's the normal order of operations, right? They played the promo. Then we're set to have Maycee Barber walk out, and the broadcast team tells us that she's not ready. Red flag. More red flags. Now, I say this red flag coming off the heels of that all week. Erin Blanchfield was saying that Maycee Barber's not going to make it to the fight. She's saying all week, Maycee Barber's not going to fight. She's going to quit. She's not going to make it to this. She said she wasn't even going to make it to the scales, but she made it to the scales. She said she wasn't going to make it to the fight. She might have spoke that one into existence because they're about to walk her out. Broadcast team says, "Oh no, something's wrong. She's not able to walk out. We got to hold her up. We're gonna go to commercial break and we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna come back." They come back for the commercial break and say that Maycee Barber is unfit to continue. She's medically uncleared to fight. They don't tell us exactly why at the time. But later on, when they continue to hammer this on the head and Cormier's giving all his faces in the background and everybody's confused because we were supposed to get one more fight. This was already supposed to be a 12-fight card. Now it's a 10-fight card, and now it's possibly going to be a 9, and it ends up being a 9 with Gamrot and Klein being the main event. Shout out to Ludovit Klein getting his first main event of his career. But Yeah. So Maycee Barber doesn't make the walk, and she's the first to walk. So they have to tell Erin Blanchfield, her opponent, that your opponent is medically unfit, uncleared to fight, that you're not going to fight tonight. Which sucks for Erin Blanchfield because number one, she's number 4. She wants to solidify her spot in the division. She's only coming off one win. She lost to Manon Fiorot before that. So she really wanted this fight, and this was a fight she could definitely win, maybe possibly get a finish in. So that sucks. Not only are you not fighting, you're probably only getting your show money. You should get your win money as well, or your show money, but you're probably only getting, half. So that sucks. Somebody you probably wanted to shut up isn't fighting anymore. You called this, but it's kind of bittersweet. It's all a bunch of things for Erin Blanchfield. So I feel bad for Erin Blanchfield. Now for Maycee Barber. The broadcast and other various outlets have said that the reason she was unfit to fight may have been to some seizures just before the walkout. Now, there's a number of things these seizures could have been from. These seizures could have been from the many lights in the very small space that the apex is, flashing all around, doing various movements, loud music playing, probably very disorienting for someone that's just cut weight and had a very bad weight cut. Okay. Now that could have been that could have been the Kickstarter of everything that happened. But there's a couple things that you should know about women. There's a couple things you should know about hormones, and there's a couple things you should know about weight cutting before we start shitting on Maycee Barber or anything of the sort. Number one, rapid weight cutting can increase the risk of seizures through various ways. Okay. Dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, hypoglycemia. This is not me saying that weight cutting is bad, but bad weight cut management is bad. And weight cutting is very extreme. And it's not just extreme for the guys, it's extreme for the girls as well. Because if you also know that women have an increased risk of seizures because of their menstrual cycles, well, that makes you think a little differently about weight cutting and when women should take fights in relation to that cycle. Okay. So a lot of times when we have a missing weight or certain things, it could just be a bad time to book that fight. And you don't know if that when you booked that fight 6 months ago, how your body's going to, what time in your body's going to be on at that time. So another factor added. So massive lights, dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, hypoglycemia, menstrual cycle could have been happening. I don't know what the actual reason is, but I'm just presenting factors to you as to why this could have happened. Also, as you know, with menstrual cycles, there's fluctuations of estrogen and progesterone. When those fluctuations happen, it can also lead to seizures. Now you're starting to see how the weight cut all the way on Fridays, probably started on Thursday or Wednesday, could have now led to the seizures that happened just before her walkout on Saturday night. And last but not least, hormonal imbalances. Hormonal imbalances are another factor that can lead to seizures. Now you add that, the lights, the bad weight cut, the dehydration, the electrolyte imbalances, possible hypoglycemia, the menstrual cycle possibly going on, fluctuations of estrogen and progesterone, hormonal imbalances. We got almost 10 factors already that were keeping Maycee Barber out of this fight. So I'm not just saying that weight cutting is dangerous. I'm not saying that weight cutting should be stopped. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying that if you're choosing to take a fight and you're choosing to weight cut and you're choosing to invite all these health factors, your immune system's down. Another thing, just so many things that happen when you cut weight and you put your body through that much of a water deficit. there's too many factors that can happen that can take you out of the fight. And especially for fighters of low weight, and especially for fighters that have to deal with hormone changes constantly. You really have to be careful when you choose and pick your fights. So shout out to Maycee Barber. I hope everything's going well. Shout out to her family. Shout out to her team. I hope she comes back much stronger from this because, yet again, she's only 27 years of age. She's a very young fighter. Very young fighter. And a fighter with a lot of promise, mind you. She was on a 6-fight win streak. 1, 2, 3, 6-fight win streak. Shout out to Erin Blanchfield. Got a feel for her. Was ready to fight that night. Was feeling good. Was saying all the right things that week. And the rug got pulled out right before the main event. So our co-main event became our main event. Mateusz Gamrot defeated Ludovit Klein by unanimous decision. And our supposed main event between Erin Blanchfield and Maycee Barber was canceled. And that's what happened on Saturday night. Who knows what's next for Erin Blanchfield? Who knows what's next for Maycee Barber? But you know me, baby. You know me, baby. I always got plans. I always got plans for him. Now, here we go. Erin Blanchfield deserves something nice after this, right? She's gotten one of these before. Didn't work out for her. Different style of fighter this time. Different person in the number one contender spot. And it's not her. Let's give her the B-side chance. Let's give Erin Blanchfield a chance in a number one contender fight against Natalia Silva to see who will face Valentina Shevchenko next. That's what I want to see. And if we can't give her Natalia Silva, if we want to keep Valentina busy and march Natalia in there, then let's give her who Natalia just beat, Alexa Grasso. So all I want to see against Erin Blanchfield is Natalia Silva next. And if we can't get that, Alexa Grasso, but she needs one more fight before she can say that she wants to fight against Valentina the Bullet Shevchenko. And for Maycee Barber, obviously a little more time off to figure out these weight cut issues, possibly other underlying issues. We've seen many fighters have weight cuts and other ailments cut their careers short. We were just talking about Rafael Lovato Jr. recently. Someone we'll talk about later in the show, Ramiz Brahimaj, had issues earlier in his career. Yeah. So lots of things could take a contender out for good. But Maycee Barber, I see Jasmine Jasudavicius or Chasey Cortez. You're not going to get anybody above you after this. You're going to get somebody 15 to 8, 15 to 10. So I see Jasmine Jasudavicius or Chasey Cortez for Maycee Barber. But hopefully Maycee Barber's career continues. Something like this could, it's career altering. It can be. Something like this can be career altering. So I wish nothing but the best for Erin Blanchfield and Maycee Barber and everybody that supports them. And we'll see what happens next for both ladies.